found a hoodie on my side of the bed that didn't belong to me. It led me to uncover my wife's affair with someone I knew. But what she left behind after moving out made me question everything, not just about her, but about us. The ending changed everything. I, 33M, never thought I'd be the kind of guy who gets cheated on. Not because I think I'm special or anything, but because my wife, Hannah, 31F, was the last person you'd ever expect to do something like that. She's a teacher, volunteers on weekends, FaceTimes her mom twice a week, without fail. We've been married for 6 years, together for almost 10. We have a dog, a mortgage, and a shared calendar for grocery runs. Nothing about our life seemed unstable. But things change, quietly, and then all at once. It started 3 months ago. I remember it clearly because it was a Sunday. We were supposed to go to her sister's place for dinner, but Hannah said she had a migraine. I went alone. When I came back, she was asleep, or pretending to be. The next morning, she was distant. I chalked it up to the headache. But that distant feeling stayed. At first, it was subtle. She'd always been affectionate, but now hugs felt mechanical. Her phone, once left charging on the nightstand, started going everywhere with her, even to the bathroom. Our conversations shortened. When I asked how her day went, the answer was always fine, or the usual. I began to feel like a guest in my own marriage. Still, I wasn't suspicious, just unsettled. I figured it was stress, maybe burnout. I even suggested we take a trip, just the two of us. She said she'd check her schedule. She never brought it up again. The moment everything changed happened a few weeks later. I came home early from work. My boss let us out after a power outage. Hannah was supposed to be at school until 5. It was 2:30. I walked into our bedroom to put my bag down, and that's when I saw it. A gray hoodie, on my side of the bed. Not mine. It smelled like cologne, a scent I didn't recognize. I stood there staring at it for a full minute, trying to convince myself there had to be an explanation. Maybe it was her brother's? Maybe she brought it home from work? Maybe she bought it? But none of those explanations made sense. She hadn't mentioned anyone being over. And we're both obsessive about keeping our place clean. She never throws clothes on the bed, ever. I didn't touch the hoodie. I just left it there and waited. She came home at 5:15. And the first thing she said when she walked into the bedroom was, "Oh, I forgot to grab that." She froze when she saw me standing there. I didn't say a word. Not yet. She froze in the doorway, her eyes locked on mine, then flicked down to the hoodie on the bed. Her mouth opened slightly, like she wanted to explain something, but nothing came out. We stood in silence for a few seconds that felt like hours. "What did you forget to grab?" I asked calmly, though my heart was pounding in my ears. She swallowed. "Oh, it's just something I borrowed." "From who?" I didn't raise my voice. She hesitated. "Claire. From work. I stayed over at her place last weekend when we had that teacher workshop early in the morning. Remember?" That was true. She had told me she'd be out that Friday night. But I'd never known Claire to wear men's cologne or own anything in an XL size. And Claire wears men's cologne now. I asked. She blinked. "What?" "The hoodie. It smells like cologne. Not perfume. Not detergent. Cologne." She looked down, then back up. "Maybe her boyfriend's. I don't know. It's not a big deal, okay?" It was a big deal. But I didn't press further right then. Something in me decided to wait, to step back and watch rather than accuse. I needed certainty. I needed the truth, not just suspicion. Over the next few days, I began paying closer attention. I took pictures of the hoodie, noted the brand and size. I even smelled it again when she wasn't home, trying to identify the cologne. Then, I checked our shared credit card statement. I wasn't sure what I was looking for. Maybe hotel charges, unfamiliar names, gas stations far from her usual commute. That's when I found something strange. A charge at a bar downtown. A place called The Hollow. We'd never been there together. And the charge wasn't for one drink. It was over $80. The charge was from the same Friday night she claimed she was sleeping at Claire's. So I called Claire. I kept it casual. Told her I was planning something for Hannah and wanted to get some details from their weekend together. And that's when everything unraveled. Claire paused on the phone. Wait, what weekend? You know, the teacher workshop. Hannah said she stayed with you Friday night. A long silence. I wasn't even in town that weekend, Claire said slowly. I was visiting my sister in Vermont. Are you saying Hannah told you she was with me? I thanked her and hung up. My hands were shaking. She lied. She used her friend as an alibi. And now I had proof. But what I didn't know yet was who she was with. That part would break me even more. I didn't confront her that night. I didn't sleep either. Instead, I lay awake staring at the ceiling, wondering how far back this had gone. Had it started recently? Was this the first time? Or had I been living a lie for years? The next morning, while she was in the shower, I unlocked her iPad. It was connected to the same iCloud account as her phone. I felt sick doing it, like I was violating something sacred, but that feeling was crushed by something heavier. Betrayal. I opened her Messages app. Most threads looked normal, harmless. But then I found one labeled Matt Work. It wasn't the name that caught my eye. It was the frequency of messages, daily, often late at night. I opened the thread, and everything changed. The first messages were innocent enough. Jokes about coworkers, venting about meetings, talking about students. But then it shifted. There were photos. A selfie of him at the gym. Her replying with, "Stop distracting me, I'm trying to sleep." Then, "Can't stop thinking about last weekend. I miss your mouth. He'll never find out. He's too trusting." Reading those words felt like getting punched in the chest. Matt wasn't just anyone. I knew him. He was a mutual friend. Someone I played pickup basketball with. We'd had beers together. He'd been in our home. He once asked me for advice about proposing to his girlfriend, who he supposedly broke up with earlier this year. I scrolled further. The messages spanned months. This wasn't a fling. It was an affair, long, deliberate, and carefully hidden. Until now. I took screenshots of everything. I sent them to myself. I printed out a few key ones. And then I waited. That night, she came home as if nothing had happened. She kissed me on the cheek, asked about my day. I played along. I even smiled. After dinner, I asked if she could help me in the office. When she stepped inside, I had the printed messages laid out on the desk. She looked at them. She didn't say a word. I didn't either. Finally, she whispered, "I'm sorry." "Why him?" I asked. She sat down, burying her face in her hands. "I didn't mean for it to happen. He listened. He made me feel seen." "And I didn't," I said. She didn't answer. The silence between us said everything. I don't know what I expected her to say. Maybe I hoped she'd beg or cry, or tell me it was a mistake, that she regretted everything. But she just sat there, quiet, hollow. I pressed again. "How long has this been going on?" She hesitated. 7 months. 7 months. That meant birthdays, holidays, our anniversary, all while she was sleeping with someone I called a friend. "I need you to leave," I said. She looked up, startled. "What?" "I need space. Go stay with your sister. Or Claire. Or Matt, for all I care. Just not here." Her eyes filled with tears, but she didn't argue. She packed a small bag in silence. I didn't help. I couldn't. When she closed the door behind her, the house went still. Too still. That was the night I broke down. Not just because she cheated, but because I realized how much of our life had been a performance. A rehearsed illusion. The next few days were a blur. I ignored her texts. I couldn't even look at our wedding photos without feeling like a fool. Matt reached out once. A short message. "I'm sorry, man. I didn't mean to hurt you." I didn't reply. What was there to say? Eventually, I met with a divorce lawyer. The moment I said the word divorce out loud, it hit me like a freight train. This was real. This was happening. She came back a week later to get more of her things. We didn't fight. We didn't yell. But she cried when she saw the framed photo of our wedding on the floor, glass shattered. "I never stopped loving you," she said. I laughed bitterly. "You just love someone else, too." She tried to explain, but I didn't want explanations. I wanted truth. I wanted the version of her that existed in my head, the one who would never do this to me. But she was gone. Maybe she never existed. Now, weeks later, I'm sleeping in the guest room. Papers are filed. Friends have taken sides. The dog still waits at the door every evening, expecting her to walk in. And me? I'm just trying to rebuild, piece by piece. But there's one thing I can't stop thinking about. One thread I can't untangle. Because 2 nights ago, I found something she left behind. And it changes everything I thought I knew about this affair. It was late when I found it. I was in the bedroom gathering the rest of her things to put in boxes, sweaters, a book she never finished, an old bracelet she always claimed was lucky. I wasn't looking for anything. I just wanted it all gone. Then I saw it. A small notebook wedged between the nightstand and the wall. One of those black moleskins she used to scribble in shopping lists, lesson plans, sometimes little thoughts or ideas she didn't want to forget. I picked it up, ready to toss it in the donation pile. But something made me flip it open. The first few pages were blank. Then came notes about work, reminders to call her mom. Mundane stuff. And then, around page 12, my name appeared. Tried to talk to him today, but he seemed so tired. I think he knows something's wrong, but he won't say it. Matt wants me to leave him. I can't. Not yet. Too much to lose. I still love my husband. But it's like I'm invisible in this house. The more I read, the more confused I became. She didn't sound cruel or cold. She sounded torn, broken even, not justifying what she'd done, but revealing a side of the story I hadn't seen. If he looked at me the way Matt does, just once I think I could let this go. I feel like a bad person. I hate lying. But every time I try to talk to him, he's distant. He's always somewhere else. I stopped reading. Because she wasn't wrong. I had been distant. Not because I didn't care, but because work had consumed me. I'd stopped noticing the little things, when she dressed up, when she cried quietly after a long day, when she tried to reach for me and I turned away, thinking we were fine, thinking she'd always be there. I sat on the bed, holding the notebook, trying to process it all. Yes, she cheated. Yes, she lied. Yes, it was wrong. But the truth? We'd both been breaking for a long time. She just shattered first. I didn't know what to feel, anger, sadness, guilt. A mix of everything, maybe. The next morning, I called her. I read your notebook, I said. Silence. Do you want me to throw it out? No, she whispered. Keep it. Maybe it'll help you understand. I didn't respond. Because I wasn't sure I wanted to understand. But something inside me shifted. Not forgiveness. Not yet. Just a question. One I couldn't ignore anymore. The question that haunted me was simple. When exactly did we stop being us? Because somewhere along the way, without either of us noticing, the small things stopped mattering. The "how was your day" became routine. The forehead kisses turned into nods across the room. And the silence, God, the silence, stopped being peaceful and started feeling permanent. I don't say this to excuse what she did. I still wake up some nights furious, remembering Matt in our house, his hoodie on my bed. That betrayal doesn't vanish with context. But reading that notebook opened a door I didn't know existed. It made me realize I wasn't just grieving her betrayal. I was grieving the version of us we used to be. I started therapy. Alone at first. Then, eventually with her. Yes, we talked. Really talked. For the first time in years, maybe. Not about groceries, or work or bills, but about fear and loneliness, and how two people can sleep side by side for months and still feel like strangers. She told me she ended things with Matt after I found out. That it had already been fading. That she hated who she'd become. I wanted you to fight for me, she said once in a session. And I wanted you to choose me without needing to be caught first, I replied. That line stayed in the room long after we left. It's been 4 months since I found the hoodie. The divorce isn't finalized. We've paused it for now. I still don't know what will happen to us. Some days I think there's hope. Other days I think we're just picking through the ruins, trying to find something that still shines. But I've learned something. Infidelity isn't always about lust. Sometimes it's about feeling forgotten, unseen, unheard. And if you ignore the cracks long enough, someone else will find a way in. I'm not saying we'll make it. But I'm finally awake now. And so is she. Maybe that's a start.